The San Francisco 49ers are Super Bowl bound. Let me repeat. The San Francisco 49ers are Super Bowl bound. This is an achievement that seemed impossible. The 49ers able to overcome a 17-point halftime deficit to come back and beat the Detroit Lions when nothing was going their way. The defense was missing. The offense was out of sorts. And somehow, after a couple of halftime adjustments, after a couple of lucky bounces where the ball bounced the Niners' way, San Francisco able to flip this game on its head and outscored Detroit 27-7 after recess. This is the San Francisco 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr., and here on the show, we are recapping what was an epic NFC Championship game in which the Niners came back from the largest deficit, according to Fox Sports, in the history of any NFC Championship game. Can you believe it? That the Niners come out on top in this football game when their defense could not get off the field on third downs. Their defense could not stop the run. Their defense was giving up explosive plays in the passing game. And the Niners really got dominated in all phases of the game in that first half on both sides of the football. Detroit was the more physical team. They out-executed San Francisco. Right from the jump, they were able to send a message to the Niners that they came to play, that they weren't messing around. 75-yard drive on the opening drive of the game, which then resulted in that Jamison Williams reverse for a touchdown. And just like last week, the vibes were against the Niners. The momentum was against the Niners. And this San Francisco team came out of the gates sluggish, second-guessing, not playing well. And somehow, just like they did last week, with the quarterback who the national media talking heads are going to tell you that is no good, who can't put the team on his back, who's not clutch, and a head coach in Kyle Shanahan who always chokes, led by the efforts of Brock Purdy, led by the efforts of Kyle Shanahan. The Niners are able to pull this game out in epic fashion. And now we have a rematch between the Niners and the Chiefs in Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas, and the Niners looking to exact revenge from what happened in that 2019 season. With that, we ask you this: who you got in Super Bowl 58? Is it the Niners? Is it the Chiefs? And let's spend a couple of minutes talking about that football game. Patrick Mahomes is an alien. Patrick Mahomes is a special player. Patrick Mahomes has now gone through Tua Tagovailoa in the wild card round, Josh Allen in the divisional round, and Lamar Jackson in the championship round. What he's done cannot be understated. What he's done can't be looked over. If I told you at the start of this playoff run that the Kansas City Chiefs would make it to Super Bowl 58 with an offense that all year was disjointed, sloppy, not explosive, lacking rhythm, lacking synergy, everybody would have been shocked. And I didn't expect Detroit to come in here and run the football like they did against San Francisco. I didn't expect Kansas City to go on the road and beat Baltimore. But this is what makes a game great. This is what makes football great, is the second half adjustments from San Francisco, Kansas City pulling off this tremendous run, and going back to the Chiefs. This is the worst team in the Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid era that's making it to a Super Bowl. This is the time for the Niners to complete that quest for 6. And if they win in Las Vegas, they'll tie the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New England Patriots with 6 rings, the most in the history of football. And this is an opportunity for San Francisco to also exact that revenge on the Kansas City Chiefs. That offense outside of Travis Kelce, they don't have a lot of weapons. Rashee Rice, Kadarius Toney, Isaiah Pacheco. That defense is superb. It is spectacular. But for the Niners to come back against Green Bay, for the Niners to come back against Detroit, you feel as though this is finally the San Francisco 49ers year. And hopefully it is their year. And after what was just a wild, crazy roller coaster ride of a win, they'll be able to finish this off with a group of core players who deserve this in Trent Williams, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Kyle Juszczyk, Christian McCaffrey. And they're going to be able to win this game. And the intestinal fortitude of this Niners team is so impressive. They were down and out against Green Bay. They were bad on both sides of the ball. They got some lucky bounces their way. But Brock Purdy on that final drive, 6 of 7 after the missed field goal from Carlson, and they won the game. They earned it against the Lions. They're down 17 points at halftime. Everything seemed to be lost. They come back. They out-execute Detroit. They make the second half adjustments. The defense was spectacular, and the yards for Detroit at a minimum after recess, and they get the victory. And that's why you subscribe to the show. Our watch party was tremendous, closing in on 600,000 views. I'm going to be in Las Vegas. I'm going to be covering the Super Bowl, player interviews, coaching interviews. We're going to meet up with other content creators, other people who cover the NFL, and we're here to provide you with the best Niners coverage that is informative, entertaining, insightful. So hit that subscribe button and join the 116,000 people who have subbed to the largest independently run Niners YouTube channel in the world. And if you want to get some NFC Championship gear, we have it for you. And it is available right now. The link to get that, chatsports.com/49ers NFC Champs. You can get shirts, you can get hoodies, you can get hats. We'll put that link down below in the comments section and in the description of this video. It's chatsports.com/49ers NFC Champs. The Niners are Super Bowl bound. Celebrate with us on the Niners Report and celebrate in general by getting yourself some gear right now. You think about this game, and I've been an advocate. I've been a supporter of Brock Purdy. I've been a defender of Brock Purdy. What makes this quarterback special? You think about what he's accomplished. He was top 5, top 10 in almost every major statistical category in his first full year as a starter. In 2 years, he's been to back-to-back NFC Championship games. And now in year 2, he's Super Bowl bound. And how about the adversity that he faced? Throwing an interception, being under pressure, this Niners offense not being in rhythm, not being in sync, being down by 17 points. And really, the biggest key in this game for me was Brock Purdy's ability to make plays with his legs and make plays improvisationally. He did that to a great degree. Josh Allen gets credit for that. Patrick Mahomes gets credit for that. Is Brock Purdy going to get credit for making plays out of structure? I was told, and I heard all week, he doesn't elevate his teammates. He doesn't make his teammates better. He's a system quarterback. System quarterbacks don't put the team on his back and make plays on his own in elevating the team like Brock Purdy did tonight. And Alex Smith, before the NFC title game, said, as the president of the game managers club, Brock Purdy is not allowed in. 5 carries, 48 yards, on top of him being 20 of 31, 267, a touchdown and a pick, 8.5 yards per completion. Is he going to get credit for the plays that he made, which turned this football game over? I hope so. But people will probably continue to try to move the goalposts. And then for Kyle Shanahan, how about the adjustments that Kyle Shanahan made? How about how Kyle Shanahan before the Packers game and the Lions game was never able to come back from a large deficit. You can put that narrative and those trends in the dirt because Kyle Shanahan has proved he can coach from behind, that his offense works coming from behind. But this team's mental fortitude, this team's mental toughness, absolutely special. And what did I talk about all week? In addition to Brock Purdy being able to target a bad Lions secondary, the difficulties in establishing the run against a very good run defense, which we saw, the importance of turnovers, how if you put this game in the hands of Jared Goff, I like the Niners' chances of winning, and that's what we saw after Detroit had to put the ball in the hands of Jared Goff. This Niners secondary was really good. I told you all that this game could come down to this. Dan Campbell is extremely aggressive. Kyle Shanahan is more so siding with being conservative. And I said here on the show that Dan Campbell being overly aggressive or Kyle Shanahan being too conservative could decide this football game. Dan Campbell going for it on fourth down, up by 17, not taking 3 points, and not making it, and not converting, which then led to the Brandon Ayuk catch off the Vildor face mask, which led to the touchdown, and then Dan Campbell going for it later on fourth down, changed the outcome of this football game. Dan Campbell was too aggressive. It cost Detroit. And Kyle Shanahan ended up, after he was getting outcoached, and after Steve Wilks was getting pantsed by Ben Johnson, the Niners made in-game adjustments. Kyle Shanahan and Steve Wilks made in-game adjustments to win this game. That's what elite coaches do. And that was the difference, really, in large part, to the Niners winning this game over Detroit. The Lions' Cinderella story, Cinderella run is over, and now the Niners are where they are supposed to be in the Super Bowl. And the chat was insane at halftime. I kept faith. I remained faithful, as much of the faithful was, but people are calling for Kyle Shanahan to get fired, Steve Wilks to get fired. What did I tell everybody? Kyle Shanahan's an elite coach in this league. Steve Wilks is a veteran defensive mind, and he's done a great job of making in-game adjustments this year. Early on, the new creative, innovative offensive mind in Ben Johnson, the Lions offensive coordinator, was getting the best of Steve Wilks, the veteran defensive mind. But this is why coaches are paid like they are. Kyle Shanahan, Steve Wilks, what a job to make in-game adjustments here, to figure it out offensively for Kyle. And then for Steve Wilks to pitch what was a tremendous second half effort in this game. You're down 24-7 at halftime. You're getting steamrolled in every facet of the game. You can't come back without great coaching and great players. And that was just a scintillating victory for San Francisco here to punch their ticket to the NFC Championship game. It really is crazy when you think about it all. And Brock Purdy continues to prove people wrong. The dogs for San Francisco able to show up in the biggest of spots. Brandon Ayuk, Nick Bosa with 2 sacks, Deebo Samuel playing injured, Eric Armstead, fumble recovery on the Deshaun Gibson fumble forced. Like, this takes a collective team effort. And is Brock Purdy going to get credit for coming back from 17 points in the NFC title game? I hope so. I hope so. And this is a Niners organization that is extremely well run, from ownership, Jed York, front office, and John Lynch, down to the coaching staff. They have really good players. they've made it to now 3 NFC championship games in 3 consecutive years, 4 NFC title games over the last 5 years. That does not happen if you don't have elite people in elite positions where they do their job very, very well. So those are my thoughts on this NFC title game. I'm probably missing a lot. But we're live for every snap of that football game, and my goodness, it was a thriller. If you made it to the end of this video, I want you to comment real one because you are indeed a real one. And make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. This is the San Francisco 49ers Report. The Niners are Vegas bound. I'm Vegas bound. And our Niners coverage during the Super Bowl is going to be absolutely fantastic. Don't miss it.